friends, Kairi here, and welcome back to the Lionheart Dynasty SMP. This is episode 2, and we are going back on our aim to complete, or at least get in working order, at least one thing on our bucket list today, and that is to build a shop. And, well, I already have the framework for it. So, without further ado, friends, let's begin. Yes, I made a hole. It will be filled. And this is mainly the framework for it. There is nothing inside with torches. What am I going to build with it? Obviously, it's not going to be a giant, well, I'd call it a glorified plumb bob. It will look like that for a few minutes. And I also have something I want to talk about. So, cue the voiceover. Okay, friends, let's discuss the elephant in the room, shall we? Obviously, by now, you probably realize that, hey, wait a second, this girl is, like, well, making what equates to glorified Minecraft box houses. And, well, you would sort of be correct. Because, well, as hard as it is for me to say, well, I lack depth perception. And a part of any illusion, if I'm understanding this correctly, is perception of both the person doing the illusion and the person actually receiving said illusion. Now, when you cannot perceive your own illusion, that makes things incredibly hard. Meaning it takes a while meaning that in order to accurately, well, perceive, how do I say this? Well, to create an illusion of something you can't actually perceive is almost impossible to do. Not completely impossible. But for someone like me who was essentially born without depth perception, it takes a while. So, what you were seeing me do in a matter of minutes actually took me well over 2 hours to do. And I only recorded about an hour of it. So, yes. You're probably wondering, how in the world does she even live with this. Isn't being able to essentially perceive everything? Well, you live with, well, not being able to, well, perceive how far away you are, what perceive distances from how far away you are to people, and you learn the ways to cope, essentially. Something I figured out myself here recently. Much like a visually impaired person would use their other senses to essentially see. I do the same as much as I can with depth. Obviously, this isn't a foolproof method. And doesn't work that well in Minecraft, which is a mainly visual game. But I do my best and typically end up with a headache afterward. But I do this anyway, friends. And if you're wondering how I'm doing this, essentially, I don't even know if I'm describing this correctly. Such is the winning or losing the genetic lottery of Kairi. Anyway. Here, I recorded this as a voiceover because I knew I couldn't do it while I was recording, and I'm not even getting it done as voiceover. Anyway. Let's just say it takes a while to do something that I would not recognize normally, so which is why essentially I have glorified box houses, because it not only do I, well, have a what is essentially a lack of depth perception, I have a hard time realizing that other people do. As you live so long with, well, not having it that you forget that other people do. I can probably completely mess this up, but that is what I wanted to say today, and, well, As you're wondering how in the world does someone like me be born with this? As I mentioned before, the genetic lottery. As weird as it sounds, I am both, well, nearsighted and farsighted. And you're like, wait, doesn't that mean you have perfect vision? No, it does not. Very much does not. Well, it's about as common as, well, true colorblindness. It is possible to have, well, it's possible enough it has a name. Alternating heteropia. Which essentially means that, well, people with quote-unquote normal vision or even plain farsighted and nearsighted at least have the consensus of, well, their eyes work together to perceive whatever it is they can perceive as far as their, well, as what they can see and what distances they can see it at. I don't have that luxury. So, I'm probably butchering this, and you're welcome to ask questions in the comments. And that coupled with the fact that, well, the fact that I also have epilepsy, which, if you don't know, well, if you have seizures, when you have seizures, your brain is damaged. Well, injured, I should say. Where it's damaged depends on largely on your, well, if you have optical triggers like mine, you are more than likely to, well, damage in the area of your brain that, well, controls your optical senses. So even if I was to get vision correction surgery that could potentially correct, which that only lasts like 5 years anyway, it would do no good because, well, brain injuries in that area essentially has affected my sense of perception even more than I already do. Now, what does this mean for this channel? Essentially, that means nothing other than me telling you why is it that Well, I have essentially I've been putting off the illusion of pretty much everyone else on the server of depth and 3Dness. So as I said earlier, I have a hard time remembering if other people see differently than I do, which may make no sense. But when you have lived pretty much your entire life without seeing things the way you quote unquote should have, it's very hard to imagine what you should have seen, what you should be seeing. And when I do manage to pull off the illusion, I end up with a headache afterward. Because while obviously I know what depth perception is, or I would be talking about it, and I know I should be seeing it, and part of this whole depth perception thing is probably why I haven't been able to get an Elytra to work properly. So essentially my brain is recognizing if there's something I should be seeing, but it does not compute as far as actually seeing it. Because of the various issues in my brain that essentially I have been dealt with my genetic issues. Anyway, thank you for listening to my ramble. That I hope makes sense. And let's get back to our originally scheduled outro. And please check out the Discord. I keep forgetting to mention that. Well, friends, not bad for someone who has a complete and total lack of depth perception, if I do say so myself, as you have heard in the voiceover. Anyway, so the coral shop is now open. Now, unfortunately, you have to provide your own way of water breathing at the moment. But I'm hoping I can find someone willing to take on an ocean monument, so I can get a conduit in there, so you no longer have to risk drowning. Oh yes, and that is supposed to be a palm tree or something. So without further ado, friends, please leave a like and a comment. Hey! And I will see you in my next episode. Bye-bye.